to an explosion, creating an unforgettable experience. The theme for this year is Heal, harmonizing the soul, energizing the body, activating the mind, and leading in loving. Now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our Youth Cabinet President Elijah Harris and Vice President McMorris Bird.
It has been a fun ride with the Stewart Foundation, hasn't it, Matt Morris?
Yes, it has. Tell me some of your favorite times of the past year.
Well, you know, I am proud to have served in this role over the past year. As a cabinet, we have made serious contributions to our community. I really loved our business series and Toastmasters. Those workshops really gave us tools that I know will help us for the rest of our lives. And you know, I got to hear about so many different careers at Career Day.
You're right, those were very strong. I also like some of the more interactive events we had. I love Game Down Activities Up, the Health Fair, and the Discovering Your Purpose workshop. And do you know one of the more memorable events we had this year was the book discussion with Dr. Yusuf Salam. His story is very powerful and something that I will never forget.
Definitely. That was memorable for me as well. But you know what I missed this year?
What?
I really missed that we couldn't go to the A.G. Road Senior Center and the Gilgal's Women's Shelter this year due to COVID. But you know, despite everything, we haven't missed a beat. So I would really like to take time to thank our sponsors, because without them, we really would not have been able to have all these wonderful experiences. Because of you, our parents did not have to pay any cost for participation in the Stewart Foundation.
I would like to thank our sponsors. I'd also like to take a moment to thank our cabinet, board, and volunteers for all their help this year. Participating in the Stewart Foundation has truly made an impact on my home and school lives. We have soared into powerful individuals.
With the money raised tonight, we will be able to reach more youth and continue creating leaders of tomorrow. On behalf of the youth and their parents of the Stewart Foundation, we thank each one of you for your support.
Tonight, our goal is to raise $20,000. And I know we can do it because we have some heavy hitters watching. So let's get started. Please pull out your cell phones and capture the QR code. This code will take you to the Foundation's donation page where you can place a donation of any size. No donation is too big or small.
In addition, on the screen are more ways to donate via Zelle, Cash App, and PayPal.
We will track everyone's donations throughout the night. In support of the foundation, you can tweet, Instagram, or Facebook your friends. Please include the hashtag WLA2021. With your help, we can reach our goals.
You know what, Mac Morris? Sometimes when we get these wonderful Stewart Foundation experiences, it's almost as if we were in a dream.
For 15 years, the Stewart Foundation has given faithful service to the young in heart, and time has been powerless to put its kindly philosophy out of fashion. To those of you who have been faithful to it in return, and to the young in heart, we dedicate this show. Welcome to the road to Emerald City.
Wow, that trip to Montgomery was everything. I am so glad spring break's coming up. My parents said we may go to the mountains this year.
That trip was hard. Man, I think this summer I'm going to be going to San Diego with my grandparents.
Yeah, that's cool. See, my dad want to go to Destin Beach and put his toes all up in the sand, and I do not want to see them.
You know, that's cool and all, but me and my parents, we going to Disney World. Man, I've always wanted to go there.
That's what's up.
Have y'all heard about what's happening overseas?
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy. See, my French teacher told me if I go abroad, there's a virus over there, so I have to watch out.
Numbers is going crazy. But did y'all hear about Breonna Taylor?
Yes, may she rest in peace.
Man, I don't know how much more of this I can take. You know what? But I do got a great idea. How about we go to Centennial Park and maybe we can ride the Skyview?
That sounds like a great idea. Let's
Let's go.
Ah, my pretties! So I caught you again walking through my grass. I thought I told you to stay off of my grass! And I know that's your little dog that's been pooping all in there. I need you to get it up! I promise you, I'm gonna get you, my little pretties! I'm gonna get you, I promise you!
Jeez. Man, that was whack. She was cray-cray.
That was scary and a little bit funny. I'll meet you guys at Centennial.
All right. That's cool.
Elijah, I can't wait to see what happens next on the road to Emerald City. I don't know if it was a dream. It seemed a little too real. But everyone just have to stick around to see what happens next.
Yeah, Mac Morris, I'm glad they were able to get away from Mrs. Ratchet.
Yeah, that was pretty scary.
But you're right. We'll just have to wait and see what happens next. Mac Morris, now it's time to introduce our dynamic MC for the evening, Mrs. Monica Pearson, the first minority woman to anchor the daily evening news in Atlanta, Georgia, where she worked for 37 years at the leading station WSB-TV. Please join me in welcoming the winner of 33 Emmy Awards, Mrs. Monica Pearson.
I am so delighted to be back with the Stewart Foundation this evening for another fantastic White Linen Affair. The Stewart Foundation continues to be a pillar in the community with their focus on the betterment of our children. Their programming has remained steady and has even gotten stronger as they have gotten more experience in this virtual environment. This year's White Linen brings special significance, as this is a year of milestones. This is the 30th anniversary of co-founder Hank Stewart's pursuit of poetry as a full-time career. The 20th anniversary of this event, Hank Stewart's White Linen Affair, and it's the 15th year for the Stewart Foundation. A lot to celebrate. We're so glad you're here to help us celebrate, and to reward you, we have a wonderful evening planned. But before we get to that, we have some business to take care of. The Stewart Foundation needs your help to continue exceptional youth programming. As President Elijah Harris mentioned, you can support the foundation by tweeting, Instagramming, and posting to Facebook. Hashtag WLA 2021. Again, hashtag WLA 2021. And share the QR code displayed with your friends and family so they can donate as well. We also have additional ways to donate, which will be displayed on the screen throughout the show. Tweeting, Facebooking, and Instagramming tonight's QR code and donation website, as well as posting photos online, will only increase our support. So please make sure you take some selfies and tag the foundation in your photos. Also, if you're not doing so already, please follow the Stewart Foundation on Twitter and Instagram at TS Foundation 2, Facebook, The Stewart Foundation, website www.thestewartfoundation.com. We would now like to take a moment to acknowledge and thank our sponsors. Thank you to all of our sponsors. I hope we will support these companies that are supporting our youth. The root of sustaining organizations like the Stewart Foundation is linked to those who are willing to give of their time, resources, and unwavering dedication to the betterment of humankind. Ladies and gentlemen, now I'd like to welcome the chair of White Linen 2021, Mrs. Cecilia Houston Torrance.
Thank you so much, Monica. You have and continue to be such a great friend to the Stewart Foundation and to me personally. Fortunately, we are now both happily retired, but we are still working hard every single day. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Stewart Foundation 20th Annual White Linen Affair. It is my pleasure to once again chair this fabulous event. Over the past 20 plus years, I have personally witnessed the tremendous growth of this organization. None of this would have been possible without the leadership of Hank Stewart, Wynn Mason, and the dedicated staff and volunteers of the foundation. So many of our emerging young leaders have benefited from the foundation's excellent programming, field trips, and priceless exposure to our beloved civil rights icons and civic leaders. Now I want you to prepare yourselves because over the next 2 days, you will travel with the Stewart Foundation on a fantastic voyage as we travel down the road to the Emerald City. This journey promises to be an adventure that you will never, ever forget. So get ready, stay tuned, sit back, and prepare to enjoy what we have in store for you. I want to thank all of the volunteers who have worked on the script, costumes, set design, talent, production, and our Sunday praise and worship service. It has truly been my pleasure to work with each of you. This project has been so much fun, and it's great to see all of it come to fruition. Now I want to take a moment of personal privilege and shout out to my grandchildren, Trey, Lena, and Logan, who are now watching. Cedar loves you all. Thank you all so very much. Enjoy the show.
Thank you, Mrs. Madam Chair, for those inspiring remarks. Now, as mentioned before, this is Hank Stewart's 30th anniversary as a poet. Let's take a look back at how our favorite poet became a poet laureate.
In the beginning, almost 30 years ago, on November 7th, 1991, the poet that we know, Hank Stewart, to be today, was born. Having worked with the third shift at UPS, Hank was having a difficult day. Not so much personally, but the world around him was struggling. Murders, carjackings, inflation. And we discovered that Magic Johnson was HIV positive before people understood what that really meant. It was at that time that God led Hank to his first poem, Can You Hear Me? No one knew that scribble on the paper, calling out God, Can You Hear Me? Would lead to 30 years of bringing beautiful, uplifting, motivating, inspiring poetry that the world has benefited. We can thank the late Reverend Dr. Cameron Madison Alexander, the then pastor at Hank's church, Antioch Baptist Church North, for encouraging Hank to follow his purpose and giving him the first opportunity to share his gift with the world. Many of Hank's original pieces were inspired by the birth of his one and only son, Austin O'Connell Stewart. Camille Love, Cultural Arts Director for the City of Atlanta and owner of a gallery in downtown Atlanta, supported Hank in the early days when he was still trying to figure the poetry stuff out. We are grateful for her generosity and support to help him be the poet we know and love today. Hank's accomplishments. Over the next 30 years, Hank has shared his poetry, his life with so many, bringing joy, history, love, and pain with the world. Recited poetry to and for people like Miss Rosa Parks, the mother of the Civil Rights Movement, Ruby Dee, American actress, poet, and playwright, and First Lady Michelle Obama. He has motivated and celebrated the lives of C.T. Vivian, John Lewis, Andy Young, Zernona Clayton, and numerous others, such as Cicely Tyson, Marla Gibbs, Lou Gossett, Monica Pearson, Martin Luther King III, Sidney Poitier, Judge Glenda Hatchett, Reverend Dr. Judge Penny Brown Reynolds, and Nikki Giovanni, to name a few, along with Olympians, NBA Hall of Famers, and NBA legends such as Shaquille Shaq O'Neal, all whose lives have been enhanced by Hank Stewart's poetry. With political leaders in Georgia, Stacey Abrams, and Senators Reverend Raphael Warnock and John Ossoff, Georgia State Supreme Court Justice Robert Benham, Dr. Ralph Simpson, D. Dawkins Hagler, Javon Hicks, DeKalb Solicitor General Donna Coleman Stribling, DeKalb Sheriff Melody Maddox, and nationally, Vice President Kamala Harris, Nancy Pelosi, Ed Gordon, and Cory Booker. Through God's guidance, Hank co-founded the Stewart Foundation, where he and co-founder Gwen Mason touched and improved the lives of countless young people here in Georgia and throughout the country. Hank created 5 Men on Stools, Hank's Muse, White Linen Affair, Hot Chocolate Affair, Love Jones Sunday, Mauve Affair, and The It Factor, all with his poetry being the backbone of the outreach. Some greats performed in those shows, such as One Purpose, Angie Stone, and Roland Martin. Dedicated fans such as Sharon Williams grew to love his artistic style, with Maureen Stubbs and Meetza Henry championing him along the way. During this last 30 years, Hank was the first poet to grace the main stage at the Essence Music Festival. Not once, but twice. He created commercials for McDonald's Black History 365 and Fox 5 Black History Month, for which he received an Emmy, Promax, and Gabby Award. He received numerous other awards and proclamations over the last 30 years to highlight his extraordinary talent. Hank's Emmy Award. The man. Hank Stewart's poetry flows from the man who is committed to helping others, uplifting people. He is dedicated to civic and social justice, enriching the lives of our children and showcasing the talents of our people to the world. Hank has visited every youth detention center in the state of Georgia to provide a positive influence on their lives. He reminds them that this is a comma and not a period in their lives. Moreover, Hank Stewart, the man, is an amazing poet that embodies the stories of our lives from spiritual and historical perspectives that embraces drama, romance, and love. Here's a list of some of Hank's poems. His words capture people so much that Will Downing recorded one of his most desired poems, Chocolate. We are forever grateful for the gift of Hank Stewart for these last 30 years and look forward to the next, because we all need a little bit of chocolate in our lives.
What a wonderful 30 years Hank has had as a poet. And just think, he's just getting started. So I know he'll have plenty more for all of us. Next up, being that this is a Hank Stewart event, it wouldn't be right if we didn't have any poetry highlighted in this event. Here to perform a tribute to White Linen's 20th anniversary and the 15th anniversary of the Stewart Foundation is a talented poet whose conversation with Hank helped spark the creation of the foundation. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Miss Evelyn T. Keener.
We stand tall in a world that wants to diminish the dream, a dream that our forefathers fought, bled, and died for us to be, for us to see, for us to become. So we fight on, we stand tall on a legacy and a name. Last name Stewart, first name Hank. On a mission establishing foundation, cultivating youth, speaking truth, and proving that one man can make the difference. When surrounded by all this Black excellence, we stand tall. We reach out with our hands wide open. We reach up for strength. We reach down to pull up our brothers and sisters, and we reach back to pull forward our youth. We are united. We are the foundation, rooted in the bedrock and planted on the land of our forefathers. And when they see scattered pieces, we see the sum total of a whole. And we take those pieces of the puzzle and we make them whole, mind, body, and soul, harmoniously in unison. So from beginning to end, taking youthful thoughts and turning them into vision, breaking divides and division, we made the decision to create a brighter day, pay back and pay it forward, activating leaders of tomorrow who sit at the feet of legends and are transported into the stories told by the souls of Black folks, energized and ready to pass the torch. This is their life and their time. They are the difference. In a world filled with hatred, but understanding that love and kindness conquers all, and charged to create their own race, a race that is not given to the swift. So set the pace. Walk, don't run, if this is what it takes. Plant your seed. Feed the soul, a thought, an idea, a vision. Nurture it, grow it, cherish the memories. Take the time to smell the flowers, the sweet aroma of promises made and promises kept. Built on the back of our ancestors, we stand tall, building our nation's future leaders, boys to men, girls to women. We stand tall. We watch them grow and become. We teach them to build it, and yes, they will come. Seize your opportunity, young people. We stand tall. 15 years of foundation, 20 years of white linen, 30 years of passion for poetry. because we lead by example. Show them it can be done. Now is the time. Not to talk about it, but be about it. Make a mark that can't be erased. Right outside the margins, dance in the rain, sing off key, refuse to be boxed in, cross the line. Be unique, be true, be you. Don't exist, live, stand up, rise up, be the difference, and remember, we stand tall for you. We reach out with hands wide open. We reach up for strength. We reach down to pull up our brothers and sisters. We reach back to pull forward our youth. We are united on a foundation, rooted in the bedrock, planted on the land of our forefathers. They see scattered pieces. We see the sum total of a whole. We take the pieces of the puzzle and we make them whole, mind, body, and soul, because we are the Stewart Foundation and we stand tall.
Come on, let's give Miss Evelyn Keener a round of applause. That was an amazing tribute, not only to Hank, but to the incredible work done by this foundation. Now, you all have heard about all the amazing Versus programs that have been happening since the pandemic started. They have been a celebration of music from some of our favorite artists. Oh, did I enjoy Patti LaBelle and Georgia's own Gladys Knight's Versus? Or maybe you enjoyed Jill Scott and Erykah Badu's. And I know for sure a lot of you tuned in for the Isley Brothers and Earth, Wind, and Fire. The power of words is amazing. And tonight we have a celebration of poetry. Please join us as we journey down various genres of poetry. So I'm pleased to present to you White Linen Poet Laureate Hank Stewart, Abyss, Ms. Lou, and Sonny.
What an amazing opportunity I have today to just talk with some friends that I've known for at least 20 years here. And Miss Lou,
wasn't even born then.
you weren't born 20 years ago. Okay. But Miss Lou and I, we've been friends for at least 10 to 15 years, right? So you have some amazing poets here, and I'm excited, and I'm going to introduce you to them, and we're going to talk a little bit about poetry and the different genres of poetry, and then they're going to share their piece. Miss Lou, an amazing young lady who has been in the educational system for years, giving back to our children. Thank you for coming. Thank you for gracing the mic with me. My man, Abyss, who I've known for at least 20, 25 years. We've been on the grind for equally as long. And I'm always in awe of your work. And Miss Sunny Hill, who I just think her work is like Hallmark cards. They're just phenomenal. So you have some amazing poets. And so let's just jump into it right now. Because when we were setting this up, we were talking about the different genres, the different categories of poetry. Because some poets, have limited themselves to just one type. And so Miss Lou, you are strong in the conscious and the spiritual piece. Why do you gravitate more to that type of style? Do you know?
Well, I learned to stay in my lane a long time ago. Writing love poems was not for me. So I found my niche in what I knew how to talk about, my spiritual walk with Christ. Mm-hmm. And I mean, just getting more involved in just watching the news, you just have to talk about certain topics. There's no choice. There's no way around it. So I learned how to just talk about things that I know about instead of things that I don't know about, because it turns into an epic failure.
You're exactly right. If you're speaking on things that you haven't done the research on or you're not familiar with, then, the listener can hear it. Mm-hmm. And Abyss, you have a bunch of different genres, but you really do. But one thing that I see you do very well is tribute to women too. You have some strong pieces of and why. So what's that deal of why women? It seems to be your subject.
I mean,
your muse.
Well, I'm managed now. What I've realized is that we live in a patriarchal society, and women are basically the creators. So it makes you wonder, like, even though I always wondered, We always say something is unconstitutional, but you don't have a female signature on there.
Wow.
You came from a woman. It wouldn't started without a woman. So we have to really look at what happens. And I think art imitates life until it does the other thing.
Bro, you just that was poetic in itself. That was poetic. You know, Gwen Mason and I, we always talk, Sonny, about drama sales. You know, it doesn't seem as, I mean, you can have somebody like Miss Lou who gives you a serious piece of poetry, you know, subject and verbs agreeing, doing everything she need to do, and she'll get a little clap. Abyss will come with a tribute to women, right? And it's phenomenal and get a little clap. But you give somebody some drama, it's a standing ovation. You get booked for everything. Why you think drama? What do you think it is about drama that just sells? Why you, and even in the poetic community?
Well, it's entertaining, and it certainly it holds your attention. And I think just with life, I mean, there's a lot of drama that goes on with life. And so I think it's just something that we can just all identify with, and it captivates our attention.
Makes sense. I think we want to, you know, it's like we want to see what's going to happen.
Right,
I mean, we're hanging on the words.
Exactly.
And that's what poetry does. I think poetry does that. And y'all correct me if I'm wrong. Anybody can jump in. But I think words, I love words. They have an opportunity to make you feel good and to make you feel bad at the same time. I mean, words. Let's talk a little bit about why words are so important. And, you know, we grew up on sticks and stones may break your bones, but words will never hurt you. That was a lie.
Right.
That was a big facade.
Exactly.
Why do you think, Sonny? You know, why do you think, Miss Lou?
First of all, I grew up with words hurting me on a daily. So growing up, I didn't speak much. Very soft-spoken. And I had to learn how to find a voice so that I didn't get trampled on every single day. And then being the youngest of four, don't nobody want to hear what she got to say, right? Because she's the youngest. And so I had to learn how to find a voice. I had to learn how to find me. And words, poetry helped me find a little piece of my identity. It helped me to express things that I never could express to people, because no one wants to listen to the girl who's being bullied or the girl who's the youngest and her siblings seem to all have huddled together and she's by herself. So poetry was my outlet.
It's your therapy. Is it therapeutic to you?
It's therapeutic to me as well. And I was brought up, I was the oldest child of the oldest child.
So y'all got the opposite going on. Y'all got the opposite going on.
Well, I was the youngest one in the house, so it's kind of like I'm around elders. So I learned to talk early, and I learned to talk a lot. And then they're like, "You act like your grandma." So I was like, well, "I talk like grandma." My grandma said I run my mouth, so I'm gonna run my mouth. You know. But it was one of those things where I was around a lot of examples of different things. So it wasn't the existence was poetic, but nobody was a poet. You feel what I'm saying? So it was like you found your art by looking at your muses.
Okay. So I want to do something. We're gonna share a piece of poetry, but I want to ask a question that I think every poetry interview has hosted. Who's your favorite poet, Sonny? Who's your favorite poet? Or do you have a favorite?
I mean, aside from Hank Stewart, I really can't, you know. That was a great answer, right?
I don't have my wallet on, but you would definitely get a little cash app out of this.
Oh, but I'm definitely motivated by words. And so I don't know if I can really say a specific poet, but maybe just a word or a phrase. I can remember hearing Nikki Giovanni many years ago and reading some things that she had written, and it just the intimacy of it and how it just it spoke to me. And she was
transparent.
Yeah, she's very, very transparent. And even with my stuff, I try to be as transparent, you know, as I can.
And we're going to hear one of your transparency pieces. It's yours, because I know Nikki's one of yours, because you performed with open for Nikki on a couple occasions.
Occasions.
Yeah.
I would have to say Gil Scott Heron.
Ooh.
And the reason why is because he wrote from a place where you don't live long enough to make the mistakes, so you need to listen to somebody that did. And his work was inspirational, and you felt the pain without having to go through it.
Now that's powerful
That's a
because
poet.
you don't when you can learn from someone else's mistakes. You're not going to live long enough to make them all yourself. So you
Exactly.
better gain from somebody else's mistakes, Miss Lou.
Well, because my name is Lou, I gotta hit you with Maya Angelou.
Ooh, that makes sense.
Yeah, I loved her. But what got me into spoken word was Jessica Care Moore, because I kept watching Apollo over and over again. I was like, I want to do that. So, I love Maya Angelou. As far as spoken word, Jessica Care Moore got me like excited about like performing it.
So I love all genres, spiritual, historical, romantic, just every form of it. So what I did today was I brought in people who I thought can hit one of those genres and hit it hard. So we're gonna start with you, Miss Lou, and I wanna hear. You got a historical piece that I've heard a couple of times, and every single time I hear that piece, I grow. It empowers me even more. My chest go forward, my shoulders are square because the way you say this piece makes me feel good about who I am. Miss Lou, give us your historical piece.
They just wanted the right to vote, a right that should have been granted to them as soon as their ancestors stepped off the boat. But see, who wants to give rights to those who you're trying to oppress? So we got politicians talking about everything under the sun except for the things that they need to address. So they marched. They marched with picket signs in their hands and a dream in their heart. They marched with the end in mind before they even hit the streets to start. Hearts were pounding with every step that they took, but they kept pressing ahead, pressing past all of the negative remarks that were being said, pressing towards a day when they be able to cast their vote like a normal citizen, one who doesn't have to take a test that even the administrators don't comprehend. They marched, leaving young children behind with the words, "It's going to be okay." Letting them know that they may not understand what's happening right now. Oh, but they will one day. They will understand how a person will be able to endure being hit with billy clubs until blood drips down their face. They will be able to understand why they were able to get back up in order to prove that they were an equal race. See, tear gas wasn't going to stop them. One failed attempt wasn't going to block them. They will be back as many times as it took, with even more courage than before. They will be back with more power and more strength to endure. See, they were heroes who left home not knowing whether or not they would return back.
Yeah.
But you don't get Purple Hearts for fighting for the rights of blacks. No, you get taught lessons. Like the Amelia Boytons, the Jimmy Lees, and the James Reeves, who some of them never even survived to tell their story. Oh, but they made sure that even in death, hatred would never get the glory. They marched. From Selma to Montgomery, they marched. A 54-mile journey, they marched. Tired and weary, they marched. Sleeping in nearby fields, they marched. Until they got Washington's attention, they marched. Until a change came, they marched. Please, don't ever let their marching be in vain.
Wow, and I say, and I'm telling you, every single time I hear that piece, Miss Lou, and I hear something new in the piece every single time I hear that piece, it makes me, it makes me think about people like the Reverend James Orange and, like you said, the Amelia Boynton, but it also makes you think about a lot of the new, the new warriors, who's out there just grinding. So I think your piece is going to be a charge for a lot of our young people to continue, because I think what it does is it gives you the historical piece and it drops names that we usually don't talk about. The Jimmy Lee, who is the reason why we have a voters' rights bill. You want to talk about some of those names in there, because those names were powerful.
Now, just when I think about just signing up to take this journey, right? Because you have a greater cause than yourself, and losing your life. Like I said, children didn't know whether or not their parents were coming home. They didn't know whether or not they were going to go home to their children's. Amelia Boyton, thank God, survived, but Jimmy Lee, James Reed, they didn't. So I
Sonia Gooden and Cheney did not. Viola Russa did not.
Yeah, and the list goes on and on. And I just, it's Bloody Sunday, and it's just like it didn't have to be, you know. So
Right.
Wow. Oof. Okay, so let's move on to something. You know, Dr. Dorothy Heights once said, "Black women seldom do what they want to, but they always do what they have to."
Oh yeah.
Dr. Janetta Cole once said, "You can educate a man, you educate an individual, you educate a woman, you educate a nation." Dr. Yusuf Benji said, "She's dipped in chocolate. She's bronzed in elegance, enameled in grace, toasted in beauty, my Lord. She must be a black woman." Eleanor Roosevelt said, "A woman is like a tea bag. You never know how strong she is until you put in hot water." Those are all, tributes to sisters. So give us that piece that talks about our sisters, that talks about, the ones who gives us life, bro.
I really am a fan of women, and the reason that I came up with this piece, it was almost like I had to write a vision board of what I wanted. So I had to write about the love that I wanted to see that probably wasn't present, but I'm sure it's there. If it's in my imagination, they say if it's in your mouth, it's in your heart. So this was what I was looking for. I have this ocular attraction that explains this strange passion. Her name? I'm not asking because my threshold for pain is hard to mask when truth demands attention. Like Croucher's risen, midsection ascension. My arms takes 2 pinches. Could I be dreaming? I might be carrying this woman's son in my semen, and deep inside my soul, still creaming. Feeling for soft words to fall off her lips, to sit gently on my ears, to ease away all of my fears except for one, the Father and the Son. My spirit is like audible silence, and this quietness in me is like a disguised ride. I'm like a free sample. All I need you to do is try. I'm lying. I had to write it. But it reminds me of 2 old friends from heaven. And I can remember the feelings that we shared with the Reverend, wishing that these feelings would never end, even though our conversation's been briefer than pelicans. I'm giving these haters hell again. We go together like messed up economy and Republicans. Born again, hooligan, trapped on concrete islands like a ghetto Ginger and Gilligan, and you made love feel for real again. I said your name somewhere between let us pray and amen. Deep in my essence stands for dime. In other words, boo, you my 10. But tears fall from my face as though pain is taking place. Cause I was looking for wifey in the face and in the waist, but I saw in this place, so serene. I finally found my cream, whom only seen in my dreams. And it was then my heart was busting at the seams. She fine as hell, but this feeling was way past them blue jeans like her caramel skin. She felt like my extended next to kin. This ain't lustin', boo. It's more like where I fit in. Mates, joined at the soul, cause God broke your mold, and I finally found the one whom I wanted to grow old, feeling young, springing like the wordplay from the tip of my tongue. You're the air that I needed to breathe. Take my lungs and fill it with your essence, cause love has made me feel its presence. You give me full moons when others can't give me crescents. And I believe in love at first sight, but that ain't right. I believe in love at first feel, because I felt you long before I saw you. I'm just keeping it real. And all I can do is think about the greatest love of all. You, God, and me in a spiritual menage. My heart was broken down, but I took it to this woman's garage, because it's in need of overhauling. This sensitive man has been on his knees bawling, thanking God for true blessings, for you sent me the best cheat sheet for life's lessons. And she's deeper than my name. Why can't she have it? Miss Sabisca be my whiz. I love you to death, because you handle your biz. I love you for what you are and for who you is. So don't take my proposal indecently. This was inspired by a conversation we had recently. And this be the realest stuff that I ever wrote. You can put a mouth in my heart, these words they just spoke. And I signed this in blood. Let these words soak to the driest spots of your inner being. God, give me the understanding and comprehend the things I'm having trouble seeing. I really needed to confess the love I once knew from a past life. Love was so strong, I had to find this woman twice. I can see in the future, jumping the broom and throwing the rice. My brother Hank told me straight up, Abyss, that's probably your wife. And he knows me, so he wouldn't lie. But I could have never told you that this icon's echo traveled distances in my mind equivalent to walking to Soweto. She like, whoa, you meet people for reasons, seasons, and lifetimes. And in my lifetime, I'll flaunt what God has given. Yes, I'm God-driven, and yes, he's living. Because if I'm Jordan, she my Pippin. Even if my relationship on the rocks, I'm still sipping. Like, I'm on top of my game. I could say a whole lot more, but how many ways can I say my life won't be the same? Woman, take my last name.
Ooh, I'm talking about dropping the mic. I'm talking about dropping the mic, bruh. You got like 7 songs in that. There's like, there's 7 titles. Am I right, Miss Lou? Song. There's like 7 different titles, and man, ooh. All right, we're gonna breathe and try to.
My future husband is gonna steal that.
Right?
Yeah, he's gonna recite it to you, right? So, drama.
Thank you.
Drama. Drama is it's that thing that sells. It's that thing, you know. And we've been on shows that if it didn't have enough drama, it didn't survive.
Right.
Right? I mean, the content was great, but they created the drama. I saw something once, Sonny, where it was a story on TV One where they created the drama between LL Cool J and Big Daddy Kane. Okay. They created the drama. And so they took his hat and put it under the car as if Big Daddy Kane was rolling on LL Cool J hat because they needed drama. But in life, the show would not survive, Sonny, if it doesn't have some drama.
That's true. That's
You know, I mean, I don't care how good the show is. If they can't put some drama in it, it won't make its first season or second season. You know, it might cut it before the first season over. I definitely won't make a second season.
Right.
There's something about drama. Give me a little bit of drama.
Okay, I'll give you some drama. This poem is called I'm Living with a Man. I'm living with a man, and it's a big deal to me. Sleeping on his side of our bed, sharing the same lumpy pillow. Rolling over, inhaling the air that exhales from his nostrils, behaving like Adam and Eve on a Friday night cinema, laying around naked and ashamed on a blanket in a living room setting, eating popcorn and Bluebell banana split, ice cream, non-fat strawberry Twizzlers, ice-cold glasses of water and vanilla Coke, and my lips turning pink from cotton candy on a stick like I was a 6-year-old and him watching me, calling me pretty. I am living with a man. And that's a big deal to me. Flossing somebody else's teeth, seeing imperfections hidden on a man in places I didn't think I would ever get to see on a man, and me shaking my head, calling it lovely, giggling and praying and talking about things I didn't think I'd ever get to talk to about with a man. Mixing our bodies together in the same dirty bath water, and getting out calling ourselves clean. Washing his dark clothes with my clothes. Odors mixing back and forth in the same soapy Clorox water. I am living with a man, and that's a big deal to me. Talking to him 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times a day between the hours of 7 a.m. and 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Monday through Friday, the hours that we spend working apart, working so that we can mix our monies together, mixing his money with my money, calling it our money to pay bills that we had before we even came together. And now he is taking on my student loans, credit cards, money owed to Uncle Sam, and the lease on my truck, making them his own, telling me he wants to take some of our money out of a savings account that I don't even financially contribute to buy me some clothes because I'm such a good baby. And that's a big deal to me. Desiring to use money I worked for to buy for a man I just met not too long ago. I'm buying enough cereal for 2 and toilet paper that will last for a while because now I have to worry about somebody else's behind other than my own. I'm paying child support for a child I didn't even give birth to. I write that check out with gladness because I'm living with a man who has chosen to call me home. Changing the name on my Social Security card, a number that was given to me at birth, for a man who is telling me he hopes that he dies before I do because he cannot bear the thought of ever living without me. I'm living with a man whose scent is so wonderfully intoxicating that I sometimes smell his dirty clothes when he is not around, and I hold them close to my chest to remind me that I am living with a man who greets me on his knees. He crawls to me. He places his head in my lap. He spoons me when I am sick, and he calls me his wife, and that's a big deal to me.
Wow. I'm telling you, the 3 of those pieces to me is enough. You know what I mean? It would get you through spiritually, the tribute to women, and understanding that I'm living with a woman. You know what I mean? Those pieces pieces would do it. I mean, they're phenomenal. They are simply phenomenal. I'm gonna close it up, but I want to ask you all to give me one or two words that impacts or drives you. What word? What's a good word that just motivates you and drives you to be all that you can be? Get one or two words.
Show up.
Show up.
I think if I just show up, that's where I'll know whether I can be great or not great. But nothing can happen if I don't show up.
Woody Allen said that 90% of the time is just 90% of being successful is showing up. Yes.
Well, I had to say my driving muse are my children or my legacy. I would say my legacy. Those are my two words.
They don't outlive us every single time if we do it right.
You know.
Children are 20% of our population, but they're 100% of our future.
Yep.
They're 100%.
I would say Holy Spirit, those two. And the Holy Spirit is supposed to be our counselor. And so if I just stay focused and listening to the Holy Spirit, the person of the Holy Spirit, then I believe that I will be guided into the right direction of what I need to do.
I'm going to close. I had the luxury, and I do mean it was a luxury of being a mentee to a Dr. Joseph Eccles Lowry at 98, to a Dr. C.T. Vivian at 95, to a Cameron Madison Alexander, who really was like a father to me, Miss Rita Samuels, and Congressman John Lewis wasn't a mentor, but he was definitely an influence in my life, and my mom and my sister and so many. So this piece I'm going to close with because I think it's so important, and I think all of us have a responsibility to accept the torture. My favorite quote says, "It's my time. It's my turn. If I don't do my part, it's going to be my fault." I'll say it again. It's my time, and it's my turn. If I don't do my part, it's going to be my fault. I'm going to say it for the Holy Spirit 3 times, right? It's my time. Yes. My brother and I, when my mom was growing up and dad didn't have a lot of money, so they would buy one bicycle, and we would share it, and he would ride up and down the street. I would say, "It's my time," and he says, "It's my turn." But if we don't do our part, it's going to be our fault. So this piece is simply entitled, "I Accept." What are you giving me? What are you putting in my hand? What you've given me has just altered it, has changed my plans. Why are you looking at me like that? There's this look in your eyes. Am I even qualified to accept this? Will there be a ceremony? Do I need cap and gown? Need I be baptized? I know you're tired. I know you deserve rest. How can I say no with all that you poured into me, all that you've invested? Okay, I'll take it. I'll take the baton, I'll carry the torch. You've earned the right to relax, the right to sit on the porch. I accept the baton and all the responsibilities that it holds. I accept the challenge to stand tall and bold, to fight for justice, to stay on the wall. I'll do what needs to be done. Yes, Miss Lou, I'll accept the call. And integrity will stand with me, even if we have to stand alone, to speak truth no matter who's wrong. You fought the good fight. You completed your assignment. Pass me the baton, our souls are in alignment. I'll sacrifice my body just like you. I'll stand or kneel against racism, sexism, discrimination, regardless of the hue. I'll get up early and I'll stay up late. And when it's my time of this to be tested, just like you, brother, I won't take the bait. I accept the baton simply because it's my turn. I accept for all of our ancestors who were raped, beaten, those who were burned. I accept because before midnight, December 31st, 1862, our ancestors, they were praying to God on their knees. I accept for all of our ancestors who were hung from those trees. I accept because dogs and water holes didn't turn you around. I accept because our ancestors spoke up and spoke out, even when they didn't know the language. They didn't know a person, place, or a thing was a noun. I accept because you sat. At the bottom of the bridge, you were beaten and broken, blood dripping down your head. I accept because at the bottom of that bridge, you were beaten and left for dead. Tear gas, blood running down your head. I accept because you sat when you had tired feet. I accept because the only way we could walk into that hotel was through the back door. It was only to wash dishes, cook on the bed, change the sheets. I accept because America was built on the land that our ancestors toiled. I stand because our ancestors' blood fertilized these soils. So if it rains, I stand. If it's hot, no fan, I stand with the weight on my shoulders. But the foundation that I stand on makes me bold. I stand for those who didn't get a chance. I stand for those who died because a white woman said at me, he took a glance. I even stand for those who look like me but may have forgotten. Although our ancestors were side by side in the fields picking cotton. I stand for seniors, I stand for children, I fight for one, I advocate for millions. I stand for those ancestors whose dreams of freedom they would hold fast. I stand because so many of our ancestors died for this country, and the flag was never flown for them at half-mast or half-staff. I stand for those living under bridges and sleeping on makeshift pallets. I stand because our ancestors knew our voice was in the census, it was in the vote, it was in the booth, it was on the ballot. So yea, though I walk through the valleys and the shadows of death, it's about others now, no longer about self. Give me the baton I carry with pride. I won't let the torch burn out, the baton hit the ground, even when I'm tired. You trained me. Now I'm one of your lieutenants. I take the baton from our ancestors, so one day I can pass it to our descendants. I accept. Do you? Thank you all for joining me
That's awesome.
for some words.
Thanks for having me.
Thank
It's
you,
an
brother.
honor to be here.
That was an amazing way to honor poetry. It is always good to hear the spoken word. And what's even better is that we got to hear 4 unique styles and perspectives. Thanks, Hank, Abyss, Ms. Lou, and Sunny for sharing your gifts with all of us. Now, this next dynamic duo needs no introduction. They are the reason that we are all here today. Please welcome back the co-founders of the Stewart Foundation, Executive Director, Ms. Gwendolyn Mason, and President, Mr. Hank Stewart.
Thank you, everyone, for tuning in this evening. The success of this evening and this event is due in large part to our generous sponsors. We really appreciate all that you do. At this moment, we would like to hear a message from our sponsors.
Good afternoon. My name is Marcus Phillips. I'm the Vice President of Operations and New Growth Initiatives for the Arby's and Inspire brands. On behalf of Arby's, I want to say thank you for tuning in to the 20th anniversary celebration of the White Linen Affair. Arby's and Inspire Brands is proud to be one of the sponsors for this event. We're committed to supporting the Stewart Foundation because they have consistently reached into the heart of the community and made significant changes for the betterment of humankind. The Stewart Foundation has raised the bar with their ability to continue to offer strong programming through the virtual program offerings during this pandemic. Here at the Arby's Foundation and Inspire, we believe every child deserves to dream big and pursue their dreams with confidence. We help youth achieve the dreams by supporting childhood hunger leadership, and career readiness initiatives. The Stewart Foundation provides all of these elements through their program offerings and has made the partnership effortless. I encourage you to support the Stewart Foundation. They are committed to doing work to take the next generations of our youth higher and higher and higher by building leaders of tomorrow. Congratulations, Stewart Foundation, on your 15th anniversary, your 20th White Linen anniversary, and to my brother Hank, who we're set to go golfing on another day, on your 30th anniversary as a poet. I hope you all enjoy yourselves this evening, and thank you for supporting the Stewart Foundation. Have a great day.
Since day one, our hands have served. They've been the hands that have prepared the food, wiped the tables, signed the paychecks, and locked the doors after a hard day's work. But they didn't stop there. Pushing open the doors of our restaurants, they have pushed Arby's past the 4 walls of a store and into the lives of youth and those in need, serving with a happy-to-help attitude wherever they can. With a rich heritage of making a difference, we are about each one of us improving the quality of life for our team members, our guests, and our communities. We are about continuing to make Arby's a place that serves others, a place where we dream big. A place to tee off and swing boldly for change. A place where chefs spin past the duties of the kitchen and into giving back to their community. Where touring is more than a spectator sport. Where we fund champions of hope and change. Where dreaming isn't just for sleeping. Our hands reach out to our communities because being a part of this brand means a lasting commitment to making a difference. We are making the future brighter, one dream at a time, thanks to you, the difference makers.
Without our sponsors, this event would not have been possible. Thank you for your partnership and sponsorship. Now it's time for us to present an award to a giant in our community.
The Joseph Eccles Lowry Courageous Award is given to an individual who has exhibited strong dedication to serving our community. This honoree is as courageous as they come, and they definitely have it. Please direct your attention to the video of our honoree.
The Stewart Foundation is proud to honor Tom Joyner as our 2021 recipient of the Joseph E. Lowry Courageous Award.
Being courageous means just taking a risk, just stepping out, knowing what needs to be done, and getting the job done. And that is certainly what Tom Joyner does every single day.
Tom Joyner spent 50 years in radio, half of those as the host of a nationally syndicated radio show, The Tom Joyner Morning Show. His motto, get a laugh, get 'em listening. His legacy, inspiring other DJs as a groundbreaking, history-making radio host.
Most of you know me from working at KISS 104.1 doing the afternoon drive show. First solo, then with Roy Wood Jr. to form Drive Time Live. But while we were there, we had the time of our lives because the morning show was the incomparable Tom Joyner. This guy. Or this guy. Yeah, that was when Tom had hair already. Hey, he doesn't have it now, but he still looks the same.
Tom founded Reach Media and the Tom Joyner Foundation to support HBCUs and the young leaders who attend those schools.
He took a courageous step each and every time he decided to start a new company. And his major goal was to make sure that he was getting students through school through his foundation. And he also was very involved in community activities such as voters advocacy, such as vaccinations and health disparities. So when you talk about being courageous, Tom Joyner is synonymous with the word courageous.
Through his foundation, Tom Joyner has raised more than $60 million to support HBCUs.
Thank you so much for influencing my career, allowing me to be a part of something you were doing. I really, really love and appreciate you for that. And I know many radio personalities, if not all, thank you for everything you've given them through the years, showing us that we have to entertain, then educate, showing us that we have to give back. These are things that you have done, given to African American students through the Tom Joyner Foundation, given to HBCUs through the Tom Joyner Foundation.
Being with Tom Joyner for 17 years while at Anheuser-Busch, I got a chance to really be around him. And especially during the Fantastic Voyage Cruise, which raised over $1 million each year for students in college. There were activities that started at 6 o'clock in the morning to 4 o'clock the next morning. And of the last day of one of the cruise weeks, he was coming down the hall and we were all chanting, "There's no party like a Tom Joyner party because the Tom Joyner party doesn't stop." And Tom said, "Oh no, it has to stop. I have got to go to sleep. It's been one wonderful week." So that was my favorite memory because I thought he would never say that he was tired.
Beyond his support for higher education for African Americans, Tom Joyner has been a devoted advocate for voter participation, credited with registering 250,000 black voters before the 1996 elections. Throughout, he's been committed to empowering and energizing the African American community.
You taught us to super serve the African American community, and this evening, We want to super serve you.
Congratulations, Tom Joyner, on receiving the Stewart Foundation's Joseph E. Lowry Courageous Award. You are so deserving, and we're so very proud of you. We are honored to have known you and worked with you over the years. Again, congratulations.
Tom Joyner, congratulations. Thank you for all you've done and you continue to do. We love you, man.
Don't believe the hype. Don't believe the hype.
ATL and Worldwide, it's Art Terrell, media personality, voiceover artist. Some of you know me from back in the day working at V103 doing A Quiet Storm, reggae jamming with Paul and Little John. Yeah! Also doing a Fresh Party. Some of you from Hot 97.5 when I did mornings with Felicia Love. But most of you know me from working at Kiss 104.1 doing the afternoon drive show. First solo, then with Roy Wood Jr. to form Drive Time Live. But while we were there, we had the time of our lives because the morning show was the incomparable Tom Joyner. This guy. Or this guy. Yeah, that was when Tom had hair, all right. Hey, he doesn't have it now, but he still looks the same. Hey, Tom, I want to say I love you and thank you so much for influencing my career, allowing me to be a part of something you were doing. I really, really love and appreciate you for that. And I know many radio personalities, if not all, thank you for everything you've given them through the years, showing us that we have to entertain, then educate, showing us that we have to give back. These are things that you have done, given to African-American students through the Tom Joyner Foundation, given to HBCUs through the Tom Joyner Foundation. You taught us to super serve the African-American community. And this evening, we want to super serve you. From the Hank Stewart Foundation, you'll receive the Dr. Joseph Lowry Courageous Leadership Award. Tom Joyner, congratulations. Thank you for all you've done and you continue to do. We love you, man.
Don't believe the hype. Don't believe the hype.
Thank you, Hank Stewart and the Hank Stewart Foundation, first of all, for naming this award for my father, Joseph Eccles Lowry. He loved you and you loved him back, and he certainly would be thrilled and flattered to know that you had created an award in his name. To Tom Joyner, you have been such an important part of our community and our culture. For decades, you woke us up not only to groovy tunes, but also to making sure that we got out and voted that day and that we took a friend with us. You made sure we always remember to support HBCUs and to do what we can to help in our community. And so we thank you. Congratulations on getting this award. And now here are others who would like to give tribute to you for being the 2021 recipient of the Joseph Eccles Lowry Award for Courage.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome longtime friend, confidant, and collaborator of Tom Joyner, Ms. Myra J.
It takes a special person to go from selling chicken crumbs on their college campus to become a radio legend. That person is Tom Joyner. Tom's journey in radio began in Tuskegee, Alabama, when the only radio station refused to play black music, leading to a protest. When the station owner relented, Tom stepped up to be the DJ, and DJ he did in Memphis, Birmingham, Dallas, and eventually Chicago. For several years, he traveled back and forth doing mornings in Dallas and afternoons in Chicago and held down the #1 spot in both markets, giving him the title of the Fly Jock. Now, for most people, that would have been enough, but not Tom Joyner. He said he wanted to entertain and empower. So in 1994, he created the first black syndicated radio show, the Tom Joyner Morning Show. The TJMS quickly became a major source for news, politics, social issues, with some funny on the side. He interviewed Presidents Clinton and Obama. The show registered voters, encouraged people to complete the census, and to remember to take a loved one to the doctor. The TGMS was the first urban show to broadcast from South Africa to encourage Black Americans to visit the motherland. Tom's vision for his show drove him to make the little-known Black history facts part of the daily format. It shined a light on deserving fathers, and also, he coordinated with others to get donations immediately following 9/11 and personally handed checks to some of its victims. Tom provided millions of his listeners with live entertainment from some of our fan favorites from the old school. And for most, that would have been enough. But not Tom Joyner. His love of historically Black colleges and universities took him to new heights as he formed the Tom Joyner Foundation to raise money for HBCUs. And this is only a fraction of what Tom has accomplished. That's why he's known as the hardest working man in radio. Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Tom Joyner.
Thank you, Hank Stewart and the Hank Stewart Foundation for making me the recipient of the 2021 Joseph B. Lowry Courageous Award. Dr. Lowry was a warrior. He fought tirelessly for civil rights. Must be something about people born in Alabama. Dr. Lowry was born in Huntsville. Well, growing up in Tuskegee, I learned early on that getting what you needed out of life wouldn't be easy. It seems like we were always boycotting or protesting. While other kids planned their fun-filled weekends, my Saturdays were about what we're fighting about now. We marched with our parents because a better life for them meant a better life for us. So I guess it's in my DNA. I think the goal of every generation is to make life better for the next. I've always believed one of the best ways to do that is through education. Knowledge is power. It can never be taken away from you. This is why I'm so passionate about HBCUs. My parents, both sets of grandparents, my children, my brother, cousins, nieces, nephews, all graduated from HBCUs. Attending Tuskegee was more than just an experience of college life. It was a lifestyle. The support you receive from your professors, the lifelong friendships, the character building. HBCUs produce leaders, and let's be honest, one hell of a good halftime show. Just as Reverend Lowry and others like him work nonstop for civil rights, that's how hard I push and will continue to push for our kids attending historically Black colleges and universities. And even though I've retired from radio, I have not retired from working for HBCUs. Through the events like the Tom Joyner Foundation Fantastic Voyage, we've raised and donated more than $70 million and awarded more than 31,000 kids scholarships to HBCUs. And by the way, the Fantastic Voyage is back on. The CDC has lifted its cruise restrictions. Everyone that cruises with us must be vaccinated, and we're sailing November 6th through the 14th out of Miami with Usher, Alicia Keys, Frankie Beverly, and Mays. Over 40 performers book the cruise and support a student at an HBCU. Now, voting is crucial in order to obtain what's rightfully ours. And now that voter suppression is rising, particularly there in Georgia, this is not the time to be lax. For years, my staff and I registered voters and encouraged them to vote. We registered listeners at Sky shows, at appearances, and just about anywhere we could find unregistered voters. Midterm elections are right around the corner. City and state results have a direct effect on our schools and our health care. That's why I invented Take a Loved One to the Doctor. That's where we encourage listeners to take people that they care about to get that cough, that lump, that mysterious bump, or rash checked out. Our health is everything, especially in a pandemic. We're battling now to tell the truth about history for this country. Never mind who made the potato salad or who wrote the history books. Black Wall Street is as much a part of America's history as anything else that was taught in school. However, history becomes their story if we don't correct it. It is imperative that we tell our own stories. We're still fighting for fair representation in the courts and on the big screen. We're fighting racial injustice. It all begins with education. I will continue to work to keep kids at historically black colleges and universities, because that's what I do. This takes faith, dedication, and money. So thanks again, Hank Stewart and the foundation for this year's Joseph Lowry Courageous Award.
Congratulations, Mr. Tom Joyner. Your award is certainly most deserving. Now here to pay tribute to Tom is a huge fan of his who's always enjoyed and admired Tom's work. Upon learning of his award, he was insistent on sharing his admiration for the major contributions that Tom Joyner has made. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, please welcome Grammy-nominated artist Raheem DeVaughn.
Peace, y'all. I go by the name of Raheem DeVaughn, keeping it ever so soulful. The Love King of R&B is definitely in the building virtually tonight. I want to give a big shout out to my OG, Tom Joyner. I'm sure you're enjoying your retirement. There's not enough accolades for somebody like yourself, and I'm honored to be here tonight. So I'm gonna do some of your favorites, you know. This first one is dedicated to all the beautiful women out there. Yeah. Street smart and educated, can hook up a home cooked meal sometime. A strong woman, hey, God-fearing woman like you said. This is dedicated to you, you, and you, and you. This is dedicated to you, your mama, my mama. This is dedicated to you, yeah. All the ladies say, say, oh, I appreciate your style. And the knowledge you take to carry and birth a child. In the way you play on, even when we're living real foul. Even at a single parent mama, you still hold me down somehow. You made them instinct somehow. Oh, I appreciate your strength, yeah. How you never bite your lip and say what's on your mind. How you a lady in the street in a freak when it's bedroom time. How you gon' cry with me, roll with me, tell me what's yours and mine. Hey, if you ain't got one man that serves the world, to find a woman, strong, special woman, a beautiful woman, strong woman, grown woman, special. I appreciate your glow, the way you get angry with us, and the way that you let us know. And I think it's so cute when you get so emotional. You know, till you pull your point, you just can't let it go. But I like that though, I appreciate so much. Yeah, like the I love you feeling, girl, when we touch. Like there's no you don't need, there's no otherwise. And if there ever is the need to come on around, yes she will to the rescue. Man, you better find you a woman, strong woman, a grown woman, a special woman, a beautiful woman, yeah, a strong woman. Grown woman. I said you love me in a special way. She got to be what? Street smart, she got a good head, a sexy swagger, the sex appeal. A grown woman hook up a home cooked meal. A grown woman exudes confidence. Better recognize when a grown one says it. A grown woman knows how to tell you. A grown woman knows when to let you go. You can have a big old car in a big old house, but next to God, nothing else amounts to a woman. Yeah. Strong woman. woman, woman, woman. Beautiful woman, strong woman. Oh, yeah, yeah. When I get weak, I need a strong woman. Strong woman. Gotta thank the Lord for a woman. When I think about my children, mama, I think a beautiful woman. Oh, 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 woman, whoa, woman, oh, 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 woman, oh, 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 oh. Woman, woman, woman. Yeah, you are appreciated. To all the women out there tapping in right now, you are appreciated. Once again, big shout out to the homie, the big OG, Tom Joyner. We love you, Tom. And you know what it is. I came suited and booted. It's an all-white affair. Oh, yeah. To all the ladies out there, you are appreciated. Big shout out to 25 and over crew, 30-30 crew, 40-40, grown and sexy plus. You know what it is. Oh, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Hey, women, you are appreciated. Oh, yeah. You are appreciated. Strong, 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 strong woman, 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 woman. Grown woman, 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 woman. Beautiful woman, 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 woman. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. You are appreciated. 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 Yeah. What's it been like? 15 years plus. We 9 albums deep now. I had to give you something from the first album. Love Experience Vibes. You know, we just celebrated the 16-year anniversary of the Love Experience on June 28th. But right about now, I want to celebrate album number 9. That's right, album number 9. It's called Love Sick. This one's dedicated to all the women out there and all the men out there that know how to treat a woman. Shopping spree. Wow. A man's supposed to keep you pampered. Yeah. Toss you a brand new key to a ride parked outside. Just cause when you ain't even ask him. Yeah. Hey. Hey, look here. I'm the type to run your bath water. Ooh. I'm the type to rub your feet. Yeah. Listen, I'm the type to cook a home cooked meal for you, shawty. And break you over, baby face with a pill. I have mercy, cause I know when a man loves his guy, he'll do anything. Yes, he will. Showing that she's his wife. Yeah. So think of me as an upgrade. No, I never been Captain Saber. Ooh, hell no. But let me show you what I know, Miss Lady. If you give me your hand, I'll show you diamonds of a girl's best friend. Yeah. So here you go, baby. Now, if you'd have taken the red shotgun, ooh, I can take you out and pick you up and wine and dine, yeah. Ooh, if you don't know what you deserve, baby, well, I'ma take it upon myself to take off the blinders, baby, and remind you, 'cause I know when a man loves his guy, he'll do anything. Yes, he will. To show her that she's his wife. When a man loves his guy, he'll do anything. Yes, he will. To show her that she's his wife. When a man, made me wanna say, when a man, ooh, when a man, yes, when a man, when a man, ooh, when a man loves his girl. And before we get out of here, we're gonna give you another oldie but goodie. Yeah, I think Tom was one of the first people to play this song on the radio and blow it up, you know? Yeah, if nobody told you they love you today, listen. Guess who loves you more? Hey, love. Oh, more. Hey, hey. Guess who loves you more? Said it's me, baby. Girl, it's me, baby. Oh, yeah. I said, lady, 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 my darling, darling, baby. I wanna restore your hope. Forget about the past. This thing's gonna last. Yeah. I wanna drop you. I wanna rock you to sleep the right way. What I'm trying to say is, guess who loves you more? Oh, baby, said it's me. Oh, guess who loves you more? Oh, baby, said it's me. Oh, baby, yeah. My love for you never been measured. 'Cause girl, I treasure your love each day. My love will multiply for you. Long as Father Time is by my side, I'm gonna be right by your side. Baby, you're perfect in my eyes. You're my joy and pride. Hey, here's why I love you. Oh, yes I do, baby. Hey, guess who loves you more, baby? Oh, baby, yeah, yeah. Oh, baby, baby, yeah. I said you never got to worry, no. Honest to God, I do. Said I love you. I ain't going nowhere. You never got to worry, no. It's me. Said the biggest well, baby. Said I love you. I ain't going nowhere. Oh, said you never got to worry, no. It's me. Honest to God, I do. I said you never never worry, baby. Oh, yeah. In fact, I'm on my way home to you right now. Oh, yeah. Hey, Tom, we love you, Tom. Yeah. Big shout out to Tom Joyner. It's the All White Affair. Tom, we love you. And we salute you. Peace.
What a performance by Raheem Devon. I know you enjoyed it as much as I did. But guess what? Everybody, he's back tomorrow. So you will not want to miss his next performance. Now it's time to check back in and see what happens next on the road to Emerald City.
Why is the Skyview closed?
Give me a second, let me check. Oh snap. I think a tornado's coming.
A tornado? Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh snap, we gotta go. My mom's calling.
Nah, I'm coming with you. Let's go.
Hello, Auntie Eugene. Oh, this storm is brewing and I'm scared. I'm headed to my car now. Okay, I'm gonna call you when I get to safety. Okay, bye.
It has been a pleasure hosting this event tonight, but we're not done just yet. Please be sure to tune back in tomorrow to see what other wonderful things we have in store. You will not want to miss Susan Taylor, Raheem Devon, and guess what? The old school party is back. Plus, I'm sure you're all wanting to know what happens next with Dorothea. In the meantime, please continue your donations and make sure you brag to all of your friends about how great this event was so they can join us tomorrow. The children need your support. Good night, everybody. I'll see you tomorrow.